Yakmala! Yakmala! Welcome back, my friends, to the Cult Film Showdown. I am your host, 8th Dan Stanadu, and I am truly pleased to be joined by my pals, my chums. I got Nick Boxer.
I ain't no chum.
No chum. Just a chump.
This isn't Shark Week.
This isn't Shark Week. All right, Jack Hall, how are ya?
Naughty. Punish.
Yep, you got an anti-Catholic thing going on there, my friend, and of course James Cotta.
Sorry, I'm distracted. It's garbage day. Every second day on this show is garbage day.
Every second day, really? I didn't think it took that.
Sometimes it's gold day, sometimes it's garbage day.
Yeah, yes. That is so true. Well, here we are. Oh, my lord, it's Cult Film Showdown. This is Season 17. Enter the Octagon to Octagon Harder. And this is Jack's do-over season where we're about to talk Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. So, Jack, please fill us in on the do-over concept.
Yeah, this is a season I call Done Again. And what it is this season is we go back to seasons we did in the past and we do them again. Like we take a movie that we wish we had thrown in instead of the movie we did throw in. This is a season I call From the Future to the Past.
Okay.
when you originally pitched it, it was do-over. So
What?
I think you're at 4 titles now?
I think so. Yeah. That's pretty...
I call this season the Mulligan.
Yes. Excellent. Well, that's something. So, and now, of course, we know the Mulligan season, the do-over season, the From the Future to the Past. And the best part now, Nick Boxer, please, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, to you, my friend.
All right. We start off in this beautiful movie called Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 by recapping the first movie in which Billy is traumatized by an accident involving his parents. Well, accident is debatable because, well, Santa rapes and kills his parents. With both Billy
he only
and
rapes
Ricky
one.
in the car.
Yeah, he didn't rape the guy.
Sir?
He only raped one. You know what? Don't make Santa sound so bad. He didn't rape both of them. He just killed both of them.
I am sorry to Santa, rapist Santa. I hope I'm forgiven for making that deadly intrusion.
Get your rapes right, man.
Besmirching the name of rapist
Billy
Santa.
doesn't like this at all, and kills several people who are naughty. He goes kind of off the rails. And we're, of course, told this by his brother Ricky in an insane asylum. And we're treated to whole bunches of, let's say, recaps, re-renderings, reuse of footage from the first film. This takes 40 minutes of this movie's runtime. We get some great kills. It's sort of fun. I'd actually recommend this version of watching Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 rather than actually watching the first movie. But, that 40 minutes passes, and you know what? Surprise, surprise, Ricky also goes insane and goes on his own kill-crazy rampage, killing all sorts of people, such as moviegoers, the nun from the first one, as well as his girlfriend. This is basic slasher fare. I wish I could, ruin the plot for you, but you know what? If you're seeing a movie called Silent Night, Deadly Night, you know what this is. The only real surprise in this movie is how bad the acting is and how little Ricky actually wears the Santa suit.
Oh, the acting. Eric Freeman. This has got to be one of the all-time great bad performances of all. I mean,
if you insist.
It's amazing.
What I'm really glad about is that this now sets a precedent that we can reuse 30% of Nick's summary on our next episode.
Yeah, that should be very interesting to well, maybe if we were to ever do Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, then
I wonder how much. I don't know that they steal as much from the first two films.
No, I'm sure they don't. But the point is that then we could just go back and totally use Nick's summary just for fun.
Or if we do the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, I mean, what would be the point? But I mean,
now Clint Howard is in 3 and 4, is he not?
I think he's in 3 for sure. I'm not sure about 4, but you're probably right.
So if he's playing the killer, Ricky, I don't see how we can use any footage from the second one.
I don't remember. I feel like I've watched it. I feel like I've watched it, but I was surprised not a super amount came back from this. I like seeing it a second time. Certainly, the stuff from the first half of the movie did.
I've never seen any of them. This was my first Silent Night, Deadly Night, and
you hadn't seen it?
No.
Oh, wow.
That's good. It gives you like a Cole's Notes of the first one.
I'm still unsure whether I had seen this movie before or not. I went in actually thinking that it was a Clint Howard movie, and it's not. And the internet meme of Garbage Day had wrecked the actual scene that it's in.
Never could wreck
So
the
I
scene
can't say
me.
for sure, having seen it now, whether I'm just remembering stuff from other stuff or the first one or what.
Yeah, for me, I mean, and technically, you guys told me, but I wouldn't have necessarily known that the first 40 minutes was reused from the first one. Like, if you just go in cold, then this is just a movie.
And this is just a movie that you don't realize that you're watching most of the best scenes from the first 40 minutes, including the great Linnea Quigley scene. My God, is she perfect or what? I mean,
I always joke whenever I'm watching a movie that has Linnea Quigley that I always joke that it's the one that she takes her top off.
Yeah.
And I love that she isn't even in new footage in this film, and she still takes her top off.
I love that she doesn't have a scene in the film with her top on.
Yeah, that's she's introduced topless. Yeah,
introduced topless in that way, right through the kill. Oh,
this totally
Clint
feels.
Howard.
This totally feels like a clip movie where it's just like, oh, by the way, here's the kill. Okay, and so now we're going to go back to the insane asylum, and then we're going to introduce our next kill.
That is
It's like
basically
those,
what it is for the first 40 minutes. Yeah.
It's like on old TV shows where they used to make up an episode at the end of the season with just clips from other episodes with like a thin plot wrapped around it.
What TV in the 80s didn't used to do that?
That's right. That's how you'd fill out your season.
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
You'd have the family get together and remember the times that these things happened. So you could film 5 minutes of new footage.
Those were always the worst episodes of any TV series, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. Though I will give Kevin Smith credit for doing that on episode 2 of Clerks, the animated series. That was genius.
I was actually
Just
kind of
showing stuff in
surprised
the
they
first
didn't make an
episode.
attempt to spread out the footage. Because this is definitely the first 40 minutes of this movie.
Oh yeah, no question.
They could have edited it to splice it out throughout the movie to make it less apparent how long they spend recapping.
Well, the thing is, the plan was to take the first movie, recut it, and not shoot any new footage at all, and find some. That was the mandate given to the editor. Was the producer was so pissed because Silent Night, Deadly Night came out the same day as Nightmare on Elm Street, and for the first 2 weeks was outgrossing Nightmare on Elm Street, and then the protest happened because they showed a commercial for it right before Little House on the Prairie. So Yeah.
Definitely dialing in the target audience.
Well, and didn't Gene
Exactly.
Gene Siskel actually went out and named everybody that got paid
Oh,
and
yeah.
actually what they got paid in an attempt to like completely spite the movie and make sure nobody went.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, this is a movie that was made by the guy who created The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams, which is another TV family-friendly show, right? So, but he
Great
says he
show.
did us a favor.
Hard to see today.
Yeah. So anyways, the point being that the point of this movie was to take the original footage, just re-edit it into a new film. They weren't planning to shoot new stuff at all. It was just eventually the editor said, "Oh, I can't do this," and then he got about $1.75 and shot about 50 minutes worth of footage to shoot around it. With like no budget whatsoever and no history as a director. His first day on the set, he actually walked onto the set and then got all scared and almost ran off because he realized everybody was looking at him to direct it, and he had no idea what he was doing. Tremendous.
Let's not fly right by how Gene Siskel's a piece of crap, because he is.
Yes.
He also doxed someone who worked in who was in Friday the 13th. He like gave out her hometown. There was like a town of 100 people. He like published where she lived.
I didn't know he did that.
Classy guy, that guy. If he hated something, then he was going to make sure that people could find you and beat you. Yep.
Original role. It's funny because you hear about these things, because I think the original is on the Video Nasties list too. The list of British banned movies.
Mm-hmm.
It would not surprise me.
It's just the nature of how film has evolved, and how the content has evolved, that it doesn't seem that outrageous anymore. But I guess it's at a time that there wouldn't be that many, ironic versions of Santa.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? A Christmas Evil came out in 1981, and this was in 1984. So
yeah,
and A Christmas Evil, nobody noticed it until 20 years later.
Yeah,
like it didn't have any following at all when it came out. It didn't even get people upset. Not like this film or
and now
the
they
film
do it
before
in
this film.
cartoons.
Pardon me?
And now they do it in cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, the idea of Santa Claus as a killer now is, ubiquitous, practically.
Yeah, pretty much. But not at the time. It was, Yeah, so it's...
I can't wait till we out the Easter Bunny again.
Easter Bunny Kill.
True.
Is that an actual film?
That is an actual film, yeah.
Tremendous.
Hard to watch, not good.
Says the one man on the planet who I can guarantee has seen it and everything else.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, it had Bloody Bunny on the cover.
Well, sure, of course, I get it.
Of course I'm going to see it.
I'm not
What
saying
am I
you're wrong.
going to do? I'm not going to watch that?
I'm not saying you're wrong.
One of the things that I really enjoyed about this film is that because it's just taking this bit of him and the Doctor to wrap around footage, the number of kills and the complexity of the kills is really high, because they're not introducing anyone. They're not explaining any other character. Like you said with Linnea Quigley, that she's just she appears and then is killed within 2 or 3 minutes.
Of course, that's the same in the first movie.
Yeah,
that is her entire scene from the first movie. It's not like she was a
slightly
character
more time, but I mean, really, aside from one other character, you don't really get to know anyone, because really, it's just you just need enough setup to get to the kill. And there's a couple of really creative kills in this.
That's one thing.
There were some lazy ones too.
Really? I think both films had some really creative kills.
I thought
the
Doctor getting it with a tape recorder was pretty lame.
Oh, come on, that was hilarious, because there's no way that tape doesn't break if you try and choke somebody with it. You seen that stuff? That stuff's not nearly hard enough. Oh man. Oh, I was like, and then I'm like, he kills the Doctor, and then there's we've established there's a guy right outside the room, and then he just walks out of the place. Like, why didn't he just
there's
do that
there's
any
sounds
other
of him.
day?
There's sounds of him killing that
Yeah,
guy.
he does kill the guy. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought those sounds of him killing the doctor.
No, the doctor's already dead when you hear that, because it pans past the doctor.
So he kills the other guy, and then there's nobody else to see him just walk out.
No, just the other two people in the hospital. Yeah.
And then they sit there, and we haven't really established Billy from the first movie. No, is this Billy? Billy's the first movie. This is Ricky in this movie, right?
Ricky, and Ricky's the lead in the rest of the films. 4 and 5 are the ones with Clint Howard.
Okay, 4 and 5 is with Clint Howard. So Billy in the first film, like, he sees his brother is about 6 years younger than him, like a baby when Santa Claus does the whole thing.
Yep.
Not that baby doesn't remember Santa Claus raping his mother and killing his dad, but you know, because he's like 3 months old. So they go and they're raised in this orphanage by Mother Superior, and Mother Superior is very strict, right? And that combined with like Mother Superior teaching him, you know, people are naughty, they must be punished, plus seeing Santa when he finally gets a job in a toy store and Billy ends up in a Santa costume, he just snaps, you know, and that's where he does his first kills. And so the basic concept is his brother is following in his footsteps and knows everything he ever did, even though I have no idea how he learned everything he ever did. Like, what I'm saying is this movie might have plot holes.
I got the feeling that the Mother Superior told him all those stories. Which, I mean, if you want the kid to develop would be the wrong move, I think.
Well, this is, I mean, there's this concept that this is really anti-Catholic because of the whole, like, hatred and, like, the way they portray Mother Superior and the way that they, you know, push towards, you know, killing.
That would imply some sort of intuitive thought.
Sure.
Towards
there is that.
No.
I'm willing to chalk all that up to incompetence.
Yeah, there might have been some incompetence is the thing. I mean, Billy, you know, I mean, after Billy kills the guy who's the psychiatrist and the guy guarding the door then, and walks out, they bring back, they don't know where Mother Superior is apparently. So they bring the police, and the police bring the good nun from the orphanage. Why would you bring the good nun to tell you where he is? And she tells them that Mother Superior has had a stroke, and he goes, well, it's okay. He doesn't know where to find her. So what does he do to find her? Looks in the phone book. I mean, looks in the phone book. Luckily, there was also the phone book was being used by a Santa Claus who sued him.
Come on, you're missing the best joke. Where does he find her, man? What's her address?
666 is the house she lives in.
I have a whole thing about
house number.
The whole thing I want to come back to.
All right, do you want to do that in the WTF moments, or you want to do that now?
Oh, I'm saving it. Yeah, no, I've got a whole thing. I love that when they bring in the younger nun. We've seen this in so many films that they bring her in to have a conversation into the room where the body is.
Yes.
They don't go to her. They don't have her meet her outside the building.
They bring her to where the body is.
Where like, you know, the CSI team is still in the room going over stuff. They're like, come on in.
Yeah. Why would you go to her anyways? But like I say, they literally say, well, he can't find her. You know, he'd have to find her. Apparently, they don't think to themselves, you know, we should try and find her too, because you would think the police would have the resources to find her first. But nope.
Well, they don't have a second cop because, you know, if one cop shoots somebody by accident, he's still in charge of the investigation.
That's a good point.
Yes. And you know, here's the thing.
Obviously, resources are slim.
If the cops feel like they can't find her, then they just rightfully assume that nobody else could.
So this is a cop station without a phone book, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, I'm not sure what the police station had, but because oddly enough, it didn't have police in it. Real police, that is.
Awesome. Oh, this movie was fun.
Oh, I laughed. I watched it twice, honestly. I laughed so hard during some of those kills. I mean, in some of the moments. Oh, okay. Let's get to score.
That means you watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 times then.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot.
Oh,
Yes.
that's tremendous. I remember the first time I was 14. The first time I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then this came on afterwards. It was on Channel 7 back in the day. It was like their midnight movie. I remember watching Silent Night, Deadly Night, and starting to watch 2 and going, I'm watching the same movie. I'm like,
how lucky must you have felt?
I watched this as I tried to watch this as a
I gave up because I'm like, it's the same movie. Like I didn't know that there would be any new footage. Luckily there is, and it's pretty genius. All right, let's get to scoring.
All right. In our search for the ultimate B movies, we rate each film in 5 categories. None of these categories is objective quality. The first one is called Schlock Appeal, and we start with Stan.
So for me, this is a tale of 2 movies, I guess you could say, because so there's the part of me that watched this for the first time and knew nothing about it, the fact that it had 40 minutes of recycled footage, knew nothing about the story, the concept. And that's the part of me that hated watching this movie and gave it a 2.
Holy crap.
Then there's the part of me that understands the 40 minutes of used footage and kind of gets the stories and kind of hears that. And so that bumps it up to a 6. So I'll split it down the middle and give it a 4.
Well, part of me that agrees with the part of you who doesn't know anything thinks that guy is not all that bright. My God, come on, this is schlock incarnate. It's a basic slasher, a producer reusing footage to make a buck, stupid fun kills. You got Lilona Quigley in there showing off her assets. Schlock, schlock, schlock. There's nothing about this movie that isn't schlock. 9.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm like, I don't see how this doesn't get a high score. Schlock is held and it's entertaining because of the schlock. I mean, literally the acting is so bad that it's so funny. You just laugh your ass off watching the movie. I mean, there's a point where no other movie can a guy, Billy, every line he says, he elongates for no reason. So he's sitting there at one point where the doctor is writing something, and he comes over to the doctor and goes right in his ear and goes, "Red car? Good point." And it's just so funny. I can laugh so hard. It's like no point in it. It's so hilarious. It's a 9 for me as well. Like,
oh my God, that was amazing when he did that.
That was so good.
Like they introduced that idea that he's triggered by the color red, and then they don't play it out at all.
No.
Like it happens twice, and then the next time it's like a little girl with a red ribbon in her hair, and he doesn't even look at it. It's not like he chooses not to harm her; he just doesn't pay attention to it.
Oh man.
Great kills, and like the framing of a killer and a psychiatrist is a pretty classic one. But then that's not actually a framing. That only frames like 2/3 of the movie. And then it just goes off on its own. This is a 9 for me as well. I thought this was amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, we got an outlier.
With that's the part of me that's Santa gives it a 10. The part of me that's a killer gives it an 8. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, honestly, for every 5 minutes, I was thinking, oh my God, this must be 20 minutes of the movie done. And then I look and it's just like 5 minutes has passed, and I'm like, oh God, I have to keep watching 90 minutes of this thing. It was like watching paint dry for me.
It's because you didn't watch it with the right mindset. That's got to be it.
Perhaps, but yeah. But that's it. That's how I watched it. So I got to judge it like that.
Prayers won't save you. Prayers won't save you in the silent part of this night. That's a great tagline.
Oh, that's tremendous.
More heart than the budget. I didn't notice the budget.
Well, I mean, who cares when it comes to part 2, where it's just like, that 40 minutes
take the budget of
literally,
the first one.
it's such a micro budget. It's amazing. The actual footage.
IMDb says 100K.
Yeah, I don't know that it's even that high, but
I mean,
IMDb says
when you think about the reason that they're trying to do it, it's just like, well, the first one didn't make enough money, so we need to make the first one make it, get it actually out there for real. But so I appreciate the concept of re-editing it so that to re-release it. Certainly adding part 2. I mean, it is like 2 movies in one. There's no question about that. And none of them all make sense. I will give this 7.
Yeah, you know what? This movie for me succeeds in spite of itself. It is for me. It was an entertaining watch, but I really can't rate this high because I don't think anyone really cared. I'll give it a 4 for Ricky's performance because, well, you have to try to act that badly.
He literally was trying to be a serious actor, but he said the only direction he got from the director was be bigger, be bigger, be bigger every time he did something.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, did I give it a 4 or a 3?
You gave it a 4.
4. Okay.
I got a 7.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one hand trying to just like reuse footage is like a cheap thing, no heart. But the fact that they managed to do the rest of the film for only $100,000, and you had only one stuntman, and they actually had stunts like a vehicle flipping over and a car blowing up, and a very inventive kill with what do you call them, jumper cables.
I like that.
Really, I would have gone with an umbrella.
The one with the umbrella was great, but that I think took less special effects. But it was
just having it
so
open.
I laughed so hard when that happened. When that umbrella went through his entire body and then opened up with blood all over it. I was laughing so hard. It's just hilarious. Oh man, they must have the worst police ever.
I think that is safe to say, 100%.
Like this is just incredible. Like so I think that part of the film is like really really high, like a 10. But reusing the footage is low. It's like a 4, so I'm giving it a 7. Cut in the middle.
I'm gonna have to expand the Octagon that it has 8 places for scores.
Yes. Well, in fairness, if any movie was going to deserve that, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is the one because it's 2 movies.
I'm coming up. Yeah, I'll come up a bit lighter on this one because I do think that the shamelessness of repeating that much footage adds to the schlock rather than the heart for me. So just a 6 for me.
Well, you got to admit though, the fact that they reused the footage because he was pissed that he didn't make enough money because they got pulled by Gene Siskel and things like that does help.
It certainly does.
Yeah, that's where oddly enough, that's where it gets my heart because it's just like it's like screw you, I'm gonna put up the same damn movie.
I was making more money than Nightmare on Elm Street. Look at that franchise now, and I could have had that franchise.
What the fuck moments is our next category?
Well, for me, and I'm just gonna go light on this because I know the rest of you are gonna go crazy, but the police, when the policeman shot the Santa, and then 2 scenes later, that policeman is in charge of the investigation. It's just like, oh my god, what the hell? Like, there's no repercussion for just shooting some random guy. It was just completely out there. I mean, there's plot holes galore.
To be fair, he was deaf. I think that's allowed.
yeah, of course it is. And And
Nick, that was good.
The random gaining of like super strength and stuff like that within some of the kills, where it's just like, yes, I can lift somebody completely above my head, with one arm. It's just like, oh, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch. I will give this a 7. Move on and let everybody else go.
The movie scene is so bizarre. So in a movie that consists, let's say, 2/3 or 1/3 of previous footage, they have the balls to make this meta commentary of having Ricky go to a movie a movie show that is playing the first movie within this movie that is already that much of the first, reusing the balls on that is just
he went to see a movie about a Santa killing people.
Oh yeah. Thankfully, they didn't actually reuse the footage, but yeah. Also, the disappearing friend in the movie theater. You have the jerky movie guy. He's going to, the guy talking during the movie. He's going to die, and he's going to die soon. But in this movie, it happens in the theater, and the jerky movie guy has a friend sitting beside him. But when the guy is actually killed, the friend just disappears. Just gone. Just no mention of it again.
What about the two people that were established as being one row up and 2 seats to the side that don't hear him being killed?
I don't know what happened there. I was also unaware that a stroke disfigures nuns.
Yes.
Making them unrecognizable.
For some reason, they do a makeup effect on the Mother Superior.
Because it was a different actress.
Well, she had a stroke in between movies. I didn't know strokes do that. That was a bizarre choice.
It's like a big boil on her face, like a series of boils, like disfiguring her. Yes, from her stroke. Tremendous.
Yeah, I'm not sure how seriously to take any of this movie. So, how do you judge? I mean, the kills. Some of the kills are great and they don't make any sense. But I'm not putting them in WTF. So I'm going with a 7. I mean, it's high, but it's not over the top. It's not world record categories.
Oh, well, I mean, I think it's got a few more than that, and luckily I can't wait to hear.
I had to save a couple for you.
I mean, let's just go back to the Leonega quickly. We mentioned that she's topless for the whole thing, but literally. The scene is she's making out with her boyfriend, topless in her panties. And she has to get up and stop making out with him because she remembers she needs to let the cat in. So she gets up, puts on the smallest Daisy Dukes you've ever seen tightest Daisy Dukes you've ever seen in your life. And then goes up without bothering to put a shirt on, opens the front door, literally sticks her chest out in the air, and goes, "Kitty, kitty." The most gratuitous, unnecessary nudity of all time. Of course, leading to her being topless, impaled on antlers, moose antlers, which, by the way, also is not logical.
I believe it was deer, but...
Oh, deer, whatever. Oh, still
moose
not logical.
Aren't sharp.
Yeah, I don't think deer antlers are that sharp enough to do what they did anyways. But like you said, super strength at numerous times. Like, you had the point with an umbrella going right through the person. You had disappearing people. Oh, man. You had cars blowing up from the inside when they barely just roll over. Yeah, like...
It didn't even make sense within the context of this movie.
No, it didn't.
I love me a good car made of dynamite. I love those.
Oh, yeah. I got a solid 9 on this as well.
Okay, so the Mother Superior has a stroke and retires. Not 100% sure she should be called a Mother Superior after she was retired. Neither here nor there. So she had been living at the orphanage, right? and then she retires?
Yeah, I think so.
So that means after she has been confined to a wheelchair, she chooses Building 666 and a room on the second floor.
I hadn't thought about the second floor. She's in a wheelchair. Oh, tremendous.
Like there is a chairlift, but it's still like you pick that after. Like I can't believe that there's not a single bungalow in this whole town. So along with the car made of dynamite, which is always amazing, I'm going to give this an 8.
What about Ricky's first kill? Just the idea that a woman's being raped again, because there's like 3 rapes in this movie.
This guy witnesses a lot of rapes.
Or 4 rapes.
It's
There's
surprising.
4 rapes, or 3 or 4 rapes, yeah. What about the fact that he just like kills the person, and the woman says, "Thank you," and like, again, worst police ever.
My lord. We've seen a lot of movies that have really, really atrocious police forces, but these ones take the cake, honestly. I mean,
yeah, it really does.
You can't possibly do worse. And that's the thing, like, even if you look at the cast, for the number of murders in this movie, and you look at the cast and you see Rent-A-Cop, okay, well, that's totally different. But then you have cop number 1, cop number 2, and cop number 3 / paramedic. So, like, there's not even... It's not like you have police force. Oh, and then there's a detective. But, I mean, this is still, like for the number of murders that have occurred, over 2 people and decades, basically, we're not talking... So yes,
and let's face it, also there was all the people that didn't want their names put on the movie in the credits with fake names. My favorite being the gaffer being Gabe Mance, and the production assistants being Romance.
Nice. Oh man,
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
we should get Romance on the show.
Yeah. Replace Brad Doc.
Exactly. All right.
Memorable
moments. Well, I mean, this is an interesting one because I know that there's memes of this. I know that there's a lot of people that completely remember, especially Eric Freeman's acting or lack thereof. But I know that for myself, having watched this, probably 10 or 12 days ago, I actually don't remember much of anything of it. And again, I think that's probably just the fact that I really didn't enjoy watching it. So it all just kind of was in one and out in one side and out the other. So for me, I'll give it a 4, but that's generally based on the fact that other people do remember it.
Yeah, I don't know if this rate's like huge on the remember scale. I mean, it has great kills, and I'll certainly remember individual kills, but the movie on a whole, the reuse of footage, the title that is easily confused with 10 other slashers, also with good kills.
Well, this was before that, though. You can't blame it for others copying.
Yeah, but we're rating this in 2021. We're not rating it when it came out, so I'm sorry, it takes the hit. Yeah, I can't go huge, but I mean, the umbrella scene had me laughing huge. I'll remember that. I think I'll remember watch this one. Don't watch the first one because all the good footage is in this one. So I'll go with a 6.
Yeah, again, I got higher because I would talk about making a cultural impact, and this is literally Garbage Day, and the memes, thanks to it, is one of the most famous lines in the history of horror film. It made such a huge impact, and because of, again, Eric Freeman's tremendous acting. But I mean, I got other ones. I mean, I will never forget, even if it is from the first movie, the Linnea Quigley kill. Like, you just don't forget a woman being hung on deer antlers topless. You just don't.
And it went to be reused in Wishmaster.
Lines like I say, like the red car, good point, or I'm starting to like this movie, or just like the different lines that he delivered. My favorite thing being anytime he would go punish, naughty. So I love the kill with his girlfriend. The kills the guy with the again the jumper cables, the old boyfriend of his girlfriend. When he finds out that she has had sex before him, therefore she is naughty, punished. And she's sitting there going, "You're terrible. You're the worst. I can't believe you killed him. I can't believe you killed you're the worst. I hate you. I hate you." And he goes, "Punished." And she goes, "I hate you." Uh-oh. And she turns aside. I laughed so hard. Uh-oh. He kills her. It's like out of nowhere. She's screaming, "I hate you." Uh-oh. It's so awesome. So I got a 9.
I made a mental note to watch Wishmaster.
I think it may have been number 2, and believe you me, they are definitely, they go downhill fast. But
they don't have the lasting power of a Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, but if you do have a corner gas fetish, then one of the stars of corner gas is topless in the 4th one. So.
Sorry, what movie is this? Which star?
Red Butt.
Yeah, Red Butt, yeah.
I'm going to watch Wishmaster 4, is what you're saying immediately after the song?
I'm not waiting until after the podcast.
Yeah.
I think
don't need sound to watch boobs.
Don't need sound to watch boobs. Thanks for that.
Do that. Then don't watch an Linnea Quigley movie, because the odds are you aren't going to find them there.
Such a prude. I think what holds me back from a high score on this is that normally I would say that I can't remember which scenes were in the first one and which were in the second one. But definitely that I don't have to remember for a complete chunk of the film. I could watch either one and see that scene. That prevents a really high score, but I'm still going to give this a 6 because I remember this movie and almost put it in before, based on the idea that there was so much reused footage, which I thought was hilarious. I think I almost put it into the sequels season. All right, our last category.
Yeah, in the season, the Mulligan season, I mean, let's face it, it could have gone in for the sequels or for our Christmas season is the thing.
Mm-hmm. And there's probably another one in there too that could have fit it in.
Yeah, more than likely.
All right,
easily.
Crazy concept, Stan.
Well, I mean, it is a sequel, and it reuses 40 minutes. So, yeah, is it a crazy concept that it reuses 40 minutes of the first one? I think it's probably the craziest element of the concept is that they wanted to reuse the whole damn movie and
awesome.
redo that, which is awesome. I will go with a 5, basically just sheerly because of that, and then the lost 5 will be because it's a sequel that's basically just rehashing the same things over and over again.
Sorry, what category are we in here?
The crazy concept.
Crazy concept, yes. Yeah, it gets some points for reusing that much footage. But cost-cutting measures in what is basically a slasher doesn't rate high on the crazy concept. I think I can only go with... Yeah, I'm going with a 5 as well.
Over to you, Jack.
Jack's gone.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it. I was just thinking about what I'm going to give it. You guys giving it a 5. I'll give it a 6. Basically, the balls of wanting to use the entire film, and the framing sequence and just how insane the basic concept of any of the logic behind this is. So I'm going to give it a 6.
I like that you use the word logic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely a watchword of the kind of
film. Yeah, for sure.
I think as Nick pointed out, to reuse that much footage but not sprinkle it through the film is quite a choice, because I also had the same feeling with Jackov the first time I watched it. I'm like, I think I've seen this. I feel like I've watched this movie like recently too. And giving up and then coming back and watching like the back half of the movie that has the new stuff. I couldn't actually remember where the breaking point was where it started being new stuff. So I'm going to give it a 7 based on that. Which brings us to the end of our scoring. And let's see now, it ended up higher than expected. So it did all right. It made it into the top 40 just barely, with a 67 out of 100, which ties it with The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies, and right behind Spookies.
I just love the fact that you had to say The Incredibly Strange Creatures that stopped living and became zombies. It's just like, anytime we get to just say that is good fun.
I like that I didn't need reference for that.
That's
if you like to judge the movies on WTFs, I think you'll probably go a little higher. It scored pretty well in that category.
31 out of 40. That's a pretty decent score. Yeah.
Not too bad, for sure.
All right.
Well, Jim, why don't we do some business?
All right. We are on Patreon at the Cult Film Showdown. You can support the work we're doing, the labor of love that is the Cult Film Showdown. And
what do they get if they support that?
You get exclusive episodes that will not ever show up in our podcast feeds. They are only for our Patreon supporters. They are shorter works that they're not listed in the Octagon either. There are things like TV shows, short films. One of them has been a web series of shorts. Music videos are in the second category. Basically, roughly a half hour or 45 minutes and under. We're also on Instagram, and we're on your favorite podcast app. And we are sponsored by WeTalkPodcast.com, the home of the Octagon, where you can see the entire list of all the films we've done and sortable by category. As Jack said, if you what the fuck moments you like, you can find all of the top rated ones there from us. And We Talk Podcasts has a Facebook and they have a Twitter.
Awesome, because there's a lot of awesome going on. So, season 17 Enter the Octagon 2 Octagon Harder finishes off next episode with Jim's Where in the World is Sirio Santiago, and that's vampire hookers. And honestly, if I just like saying vampire hookers really more than anything else. But does anybody have anything else to add before we wrap this sucker up and move on?
Boobs.
Boobs? Okay, fair enough. I mean, I can't complain about that. All right. So, for Jack, and for Nick, and for Jim, I am your host, 8th Dan Stanadu, and thanks for listening to the Cult Film Showdown.
The nightmare began with Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Need a ride, Santa Claus?
Oh, no, not exactly.
But it isn't over yet. In fact, the ultimate nightmare is about to begin all over again. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2.
Hey, you little bastard!
All Ricky ever wanted was a little kindness.
Very, very naughty.
And all he ever got was pain.
She was naughty.
Now he wants revenge. And this time,
Garbage day!
he's going to get it. Step by step. Weapon by weapon. Victim by victim. The terror's coming home, and he's all grown up. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2.
I've got a present for you!
Terrifying suspense shocker you've been waiting for. Last time it thrilled you. This time,
Bingo!
it'll kill you. Silent Night Releasing Corporation presents Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2.